Greetings, YouTube. So the Reagan-era gag rules are back in place once again on women's health centers that provide abortions or even recommend people to places that provide abortions. And if these centers do these things, then they will lose all their federal funding. Now, let me remind you that abortion is legal in America, and a woman's control of her own body should be considered sacrosanct. Flat out, a person should have control of their own body. And if they don't, then they aren't really free. You have stripped them of their civil liberties and human rights. Also, let me remind you that there has been a law in place for decades which prevents federal funding to be used for abortions. And another thing you need to be reminded of, that Planned Parenthood, for example, 97% of their funding goes to of their actions, their policy, their provided services goes towards non-abortion things, screenings, birth control, breast examinations, things like that. 97% of their actions, that's what they do. Only 3% of what Planned Parenthood does is about abortions. And so in an effort to unfund those 3%, and remember, the federal government already isn't funding those 3%, they're willing to unfund the 97% of things which mostly benefit poor women who could not afford to go to OGBYNs that are more expensive. They need to go to Planned Parenthood because their services are less expensive. Their services are also quite good. I know people who have gone to Planned Parenthood for services that did not involve abortions. And I've known people who have gone to Planned Parenthood to get abortions. Because sometimes things happen and you don't want to be pregnant. And it's a woman's right to make that decision. Legally, at least on the books, in theory, up to the 23rd week. But many places are trying to push it back to the point where a woman may not even know she is pregnant, and yet they want to say, okay, you're too far pregnant, you can't have an abortion. I used to date a woman who had periods every 3 to 4 months. That was it. That was her natural cycle. So if she were ever to become pregnant, she might not notice until she began to show. But no. They don't care about that. They are all pro-pregnancy. We want you to be held responsible for the evil things you do, which is sex. Social conservatives don't want women having sex. And they consider pregnancy to be a punishment, to be the consequences of an action they don't like. But they're not the one carrying that fetus. And the person that carrying that fetus should be the one deciding if the fetus gets to stay. But social conservatives don't like that. Of course, once the fetus leaves the woman and becomes a full-fledged human being, they don't give a shit anymore. They don't care if the poor woman can't feed the kids or provide them with medical support or make sure that they live in healthy, safe places or have a proper education. No, they don't care about that. As long as that fetus turns into a real human being, they're happy. And screw it that no one else is. They don't care, because social conservatism is a disease, and this policy of the current administration is a direct attack against women in America. It is another campaign in their war on women. And I'm tired of it. And anyone out there who is sane should be tired of it. If it's not your uterus, it's not your business. The GOP has no business inside a woman's uterus. And social conservatism is a disease that we need to eradicate. I know this isn't a popular position, and I don't give a shit.